What is up, everyone? So, the market had a meltdown. I haven't been live in a very long time. Well, I guess that, there's always a reason. There's always so many gurus out there, so many new crypto YouTubers that are obviously, sharing about the community, sharing about their favorite tokens. And it's very healthy, especially when we step into a new bull market, okay? And just so you know, with this recent meltdown, it gives a lot of opportunity for folks to kind of step back into crypto, or at least for folks who are sitting at the sidelines thinking about whether they should get into cryptocurrency. I feel now is an opportune time. Now you're probably wondering, where the heck have I been? Very simple, guys. I have been hedging a lot of my crypto profits to all the things that I love. I've kind of stepped back into a little bit of luxury watches. As you know, I do post a little bit of Magic the Gathering stuff. Nothing too major, nothing too, nothing big, in a sense. I recently purchased the Black Lotus. I purchased the Time Walk. I purchased a Time Twister, and of course, I completed my full set of blue base dual lens, either in alpha or beta. So that was what I was doing. I was just basically hedging most of my crypto profits from my portfolio into all these things, and of course naturally some to cash as well, cleared off some of the usual liabilities. What have you been doing for your crypto profits? Now, having said that, if you didn't hedge, right, and you were thinking that, okay, to be frank, if you kind of came in the last 6 months, okay, no, wait, maybe not 6 months, maybe the last 3 to 4 months, sad to say, you might have had all those profits wiped out. But if you were less aggressive and you kind of had been taking profits along the way, you would have a nice pool of funds to work with so that you can rebuild and build and continue to build the position. I think that's very important, right? I think those who have been following me long enough, you kind of get a sense of how I work and how I do things, right? And of course, a lot of my content has already shifted to the private groups for one reason and one reason only: speed. You need speed, guys. There's no way that I could create a video fast enough to react to yesterday's market to tell everybody what to do. It is not possible. Hence, the signals is very, very important. Timing is really everything, and especially the continuity of the information. Let's just put it this way: if we were all in a WhatsApp group or in a Discord, it's just easier. It's just easier to make a decision, to help everybody quickly react to it, and that was what happened, right? There's no way that anybody can predict 50k, 49k, 50k was kind of like the part where we start breaking downwards. Anyone who is trying, if you look at the 1 week chart, okay, if you look at the 1 week chart for BTC, there were many attempts to breach the 50k mark, okay? Only just this last week, okay, the last 7 days, then you started to see a combination of Elon Musk, China side saying that they're not gonna work with businesses that are allowing tokens or crypto, something like that, just a combination of FUD, right? And then of course there are some who follow the insider Reddits and the insider posts from anonymous folks, a combination, right? And to be frank, let's just put all that aside. Don't you feel that the market was a little bit overheated and needed a nice little cool off? That's just what happened. You just need a cool off in the market, guys. I mean, yes, there are always sentiments that say, okay, let's just put it this way. When it was 20k back in 2017, everybody thought that we would rush to 50k. Okay, it didn't happen. We had a very heavy correction back down to 3,000 in the months to come. This time around, we were a little bit more generous. We allowed the market to have a little bit more time, okay? And thankfully, everybody had a little bit more time. Anyone who was building their portfolio in 2018, 2019, and enjoyed the run-up at the end of 2020, leading up to the early parts of quarter one of 2021, you made money. You made money. You clearly made money. If you were more speculative and you went into a lot of weird other stuff, for example, Matic did very well up till lately. Solana did extremely well up till lately. Those who wrote the Uniswap, Sushi Swap, Cake, you did fantastic. You're still in the money. If you really bought anything at the beginning of the year, you are still making bank. The only question is, why didn't you take profit? And I kind of like, And I kind of always have this question asked even till this very day from my long-term clients. And I kind of want to drill this down for everybody at this point of time. When you are having a crypto portfolio, never ever say, I don't need the money. Even if you don't need the money, have an objective. Okay, have an objective for the money. For example, every time a student comes to if a student, right, literally a student, a university student, or a young adult who is doing his masters or something like that, that is usually a loan, right? They usually take a loan, unless of course your parents are ballers and they can pay it off for you, or you don't need to owe them anything for that amount. Then go ahead, but have an objective for your portfolio. Don't ever say that I will never cash out, I love my cryptos and all that. Look, man, please. We are all human beings. We all need to hold on to something. We all need to clear off debt. We all need to move on to a next life stage in our life. Getting married, buying a home, clearing off the mortgage, paying off our children's university. Have an objective. So number one thing, when you are going to create your crypto portfolio, have an objective. Don't say that you will never take profit, and all that. Please, it doesn't even make sense. Okay. Everyone from VCs to institutions to hedge funds to whatever, they always take profit. They always will take profit and move their funds around. There's no such thing, okay? If you never realize any of your gains, right, you get nothing. All that you are enjoying is just paper gains and paper loss, okay? And I totally believe that. I believe that there are folks who really don't need the money. They're just here to just enjoy, experience, maybe just have a chat with friends because their friends are doing it and they don't know jack shit about crypto. They're like, oh, what's happening here? Like, I only know about Bitcoin. What do you mean? Why are you in Polkadot? What the heck's Polkadot? Stuff like that. So it's sometimes maybe just a novelty to hold crypto. I don't know. For me, crypto is basically my business. I do it professionally. I get people involved in the space. At the same time, I help them create portfolios. Portfolios that have an objective. So, moral of the story. Right now, if you have a debt, okay, a mortgage to pay off, or you want to have a down payment for your home, you make sure that your crypto portfolio, the moment it achieves that objective, you cash out. Simple as that. You don't care about whether this fella made 200x on Reddit or whatever. That person doesn't know you, and you don't even know whether that person is real. You know your situation better than anybody else. You know whether your kid's going to university in 5 or 10 years' time. You know it better than anybody else. No one else, no YouTuber, not even me, should tell you what you should do with your money. If you don't even have an objective for your portfolio, it is very frustrating. So I never like to take on anybody who doesn't listen to whatever I put out, because all these things are very factual. You have a 100k loan, clear the damn 100k loan. You have a 50k student loan, clear the 50k student loan the moment your portfolio is 100k. You don't think about 100k making 1 million, 2 million. I tell you, it never ends. It never ends, okay? Because moral of the story, everybody wants to make more money. I want to make more money all the time. Okay, and I know that you want to make more money all the time, but realistically, how much can you stretch, especially if you don't know about how the market functions? Every time it goes to an all-time high, there will always be a correction. It is just very normal. I think everybody who is veteran enough would have anticipated that BTC would have come down, right? And I think we all had a very good run. Look at Polkadot where it is. Look at BNB where it is. I can name so many cryptocurrencies, and I'm so conservative in my spectrum of cryptocurrencies that I look at. I'm very, very aware of what's out there. I'm very, very aware of what's new, what's hot, what's hype, what's NFT. I know, but I will never get myself involved because firstly, I think the amount that I command at this point of time doesn't warrant me to take too much risk. I'd rather build a portfolio, right, that is sustainable, right? So I think another thing that I kind of want to highlight is that if you are currently stuck, if you have cryptocurrencies that are currently stuck, I feel that staking is one of the best ways for you to quickly break even, right? And if you are not planning to top up more, that means fiat going into crypto to buy US dollar tether or just having BTC or having Ethereum, right? It's going to be quite a bit of a wait, okay? I'm not saying that, look, just to be clear, the bull run has not ended. Okay, we are still in a long-term bull run. This is a technical bear, and it was long awaited. Dominance also has recently shifted back up to 44. It was initially below 40%. Now it's at 45%. People are seeing that Bitcoin is so-called technically cheap, right? It's technically cheap because no one can say intrinsically how much Bitcoin truly should be worth. It is always based on what the market wants it to be worth. So at this point of time, if I want to quickly give 3 top pointers to folks who are rebuilding their portfolio or building a new crypto portfolio, stick to the core stuff, right? Stick to the core stuff. If you don't have any BTC Ethereum, get a little bit. Have a dollar cost averaging strategy to make the effort to at least buy a little bit of those things. And when you're buying it at this point of time, you're no longer an all-time high buyer. So that's kind of a good thing because you really had a 50% discount. Now, Ethereum is a little bit tricky, right? Ethereum hit a high of about $4,000, right? 4,002, 4,003. So right now, you're having it at around $2,500, $2,800. It's actually recovering relatively quickly, if I might say. Okay, but it's a little bit tricky because it's going to be in the hiatus mode where it's kind of figuring out whether F2.0 is going to be as scalable and as successful as the current, its current competitors. So who are the current competitors? We're talking about Cardano. We're talking about Polkadot. We are talking about BNB, right? So all these smart contract platforms, right, are competing and have already transitioned to proof of stake. Or I wouldn't say transition. They were already proof of stake. They offer you as a user, right, lower and very cheap transactional or gas fees compared to Ethereum, who is more of a baller network where gas fees are exorbitantly more expensive. It's not as welcoming to anyone who is new and trying out the space with less than $100. In fact, even $100 to be kind of as in to pay a gas fee of $10 to $15 to even $20 at times per transaction is very, very painful. But volume is king. Having the right place to do things, having a secure place to transact your crypto, to buy your crypto, to swap, whatever you guys are doing, you're either doing in the DeFi way or you're doing it in a centralized manner. It's always better to have a lower gas fee. So I feel that Polkadot actually has a lot of things going on for it, and of course BNB, right? BNB has Pancake Swap. It's looking really, really very exciting for the space because there's more avenues to look and acquire your cryptocurrency. So for now, I would strongly suggest that you kind of plan and have like a tier. So what I've been doing or educating my members is very simple. I split my cryptocurrencies into categories. So you have core cryptocurrencies, for example, like Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're never gonna disappear or suddenly, not have a community. It just won't happen, right? There's just so much institutional support at this point in time that there will be a flaw. There will be a flaw in price. That's what I mean. But could there be sell-offs and FUD that could cause the price to drop drastically? As you can see, yes. Clearly, yes. There's no foolproof way to kind of protect everything. So having those as core is always king. Now, the next one I will always categorize is tier 1 cryptocurrencies. So tier 1 cryptocurrencies are literally the ones that have shown the most progress. They have successful, renowned developers that are already building a community through their grassroots efforts, continuously or obviously having developments and of course having dApps built on their platform. So who am I talking about? The obvious stuff, right? Cardano, BNB, you have Dot, Polkadot, all these are considered tier 1 in my book, right? Then comes the fun stuff. Now the fun stuff is the one where everybody makes and people who are having less capital, they start to park their funds into the tier 2 to even tier 3 cryptocurrencies that have lower market cap, and at the same time they're so much more speculative. Sometimes they're not even listed on most centralized exchanges, but they're readily available and doing high ROI on the DeFi side. So I feel that as long as this market is kind of still speculative, I'm seeing for the fact that the tier 2 and tier 3, they're starting to be a little bit more risky, right? Because firstly, market cap is very low. token supply can be high or low, but end of the day, if there's enough market players coming together to kind of, obviously manipulate the price, then there's still a good level. There's still a good opportunity to have a good multiplier. But the problem that I have with these cryptocurrencies is the lack of real transparency. So it takes also a lot of effort, right? You do the same thing. You go into their Telegram groups. You start kind of questioning the developers, the community. How much social media presence do they really have? Have they really gone out there, started to engage, the crypto YouTubers, or at least the prominent channels, to have a discussion about the project? Now, I'm always very concerned when markets are tanking like this. People get very desperate. Okay, firstly, why are they desperate? They're desperate because, firstly, there's an opportunity currently to raise money while there's a small window. So just to share with you, okay, in terms of even Magic the Gathering, I see a slowdown in the purchases, right? So because firstly, stimulus checks, right, are kind of like, almost used up. At the same time, with market corrections, there's not enough profits. That people are maybe not even in the money anymore. So they are not cashing out more from their crypto portfolio. Even if they're deep in the money, they're not cashing out more because clearly there's already a dip, right? So they don't wanna continue selling. Let's assume that you are a deep pocketed Bitcoin owner, right? Then the next thing is that when market momentum isn't there, there's no real profits to be made anymore. Hence, people who were buying aggressively with credit cards, right, and they still owe their credit card, they're gonna panic sell. That further increases the selling pressure in the market, and you will have more supply of just things like random things that you realize you didn't need. You are buying it on an emotional impulse, and you didn't even actually have the holding power. So that's the truth, right? And you didn't flip it fast enough, and everybody's stuck. So when people are stuck, there's only two things that can happen. One, you have the holding power, you just wait. The other one, which is the more common scenario, is that if you bought on an impulse or you bought on a whim, and you don't have the money to actually even own all this stuff, right? Then you start to panic. So you are not only that, you're contributing to the selling pressure, the downward momentum. You're adding on to that, which is fine. You have to learn, right? It's totally normal. So once that happens, and once all the selling is done, right, that's when you can start building and buying. Now, does it mean that you don't start having a position? I think that right now it is a great time to start building a position in crypto. Okay, it's just that you need to do it very, very conservatively with a good amount of funds, obviously, and you gradually build that portfolio. Because look, to be frank, Polkadot started like what, at how much before the dip, right? Before the whole run up, Polkadot was at what, $5. That was at the beginning of the year. That was the beginning of the year. Polkadot was at $5, guys. And then now it's at $25. So it's still 5x. You know what I mean? So there's still potentially room for it to correct, but there's also room for it to continue to grow. So the question to you is, do you feel that $25 is too expensive? I think there's no such thing as too expensive anymore. There's in my mind, right? As long as you have a good timeline and objective, right, you are gonna be fine. Because I think a lot of people will definitely start learning. And as much as I would like to say you are someone who is new, you're gonna research more. Because now that you have kind of either had a good experience, you cashed out on time, right, and you're sitting on US dollar tether and you're watching this video, you'll be like, yeah, I better start tidying up my portfolio. I don't want to have so much random cryptocurrencies. I want to have more cryptocurrencies that I can be confident about. I know that for a fact that, or at least I feel that they have long-term potential to kind of be long-lasting in the industry. This is kind of like how you got to think. The next thing is that I think staking is pretty much straightforward. If those cryptocurrencies have a mainnet up or have a very decent APY, right, that can also help you to dollar cost average, because it's little baby tokens will appear, and those baby tokens, right, you can either just go back to US dollar tether, right? To kind of build your US dollar stack steadily. And then from then you can move and build your other stuff. So having a staking portfolio isn't a bad thing. It's actually a very good thing. And it's very obvious that the moment people get stuck at BNB at $500, you have cake, folks who bought cake at $38 and above, stuff like that. You are now able to look at staking options, because on PancakeSwap you can start staking your cake through either your MetaMask, or you have a Binance wallet, Trust wallet, or whatever, and you can start earning cake. And cake, does a decent APY. It's about 130 to 140% give or take, right? And there's also the manual option. But I think doing auto staking is just a little bit more less hassle free. So that's also another consideration, right? And it's compounding. So it's pretty autopilot when you think about it, right? Because everyone, when you think about it from a traditional investment standpoint, right, you are wanting to build some kind of form of passive income. At the end of the day, everybody just loves to be lazy. I love to be lazy too, So if you can kind of build a passive income portfolio that's large enough that you can pay off your liabilities, or, just have that passive income, you can buy a lot of happy things. And I feel that a lot of times, I just recently watched, one episode by Grant Cardone, right? And what he said was, although he loves to buy, he owns a Bentley, he owns multiple luxury watches, and he loves a lot of fancy stuff. But one thing, the key takeaway about what he said was, he only buys all the happy things, right, with passive income. He never ever uses earned income, right, to go and buy luxury items. And that kind of dawned on me, it's kind of like the same, because I use crypto profits, right, to buy the stuff that I like. It may not necessarily be investable, just take note, okay? But it makes me happy, okay? Now, the next thing, and the very first thing that I did with my crypto profits, was clear all the liabilities, like loans, for example, any kind of, any kind of annoying stuff, basically credit card bills or whatever. I always use that, right, to kind of clear off, and it is no longer on my books as per se. Now, Grant Cardone, right, being a much more successful marketer, he's an entrepreneur, he goes around the world. So I would say that at the end of the day, he built a property business, right, that is invested in property, collecting rental. There's always brokerage as well, because he does brokerage as well. So all these streams of revenue will be building and going towards a investment that is generating passive income. In this case, it's a property. So from there, the property is collecting rental, and that rental income, right, net off, will be for him to go and spend on whatever he likes. This is something that's very, very important that you want to kind of build. Even though you may not have the same capital as Grant Cardone or even myself, you can start out by doing little things in the crypto space that allow you to generate a passive income. Yes, it may not look like much at the beginning, but I think building it through the many years will go a very long way for you. And it's very much the same when, if let's say crypto didn't exist, it would be the same where you build a dividend portfolio, right? You have a dividend portfolio, and you are looking at maybe a bond portfolio, for example. But obviously that isn't very, very attractive compared to the crypto space at the moment. So I would say that, manage your risk, do a lot of research, have a plan for your portfolio. All right, guys. And, don't panic. I feel that right now is a fantastic time to start building a portfolio. Take care, and I'll see you in the next live stream, guys. Cheers.